Anyway, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
All right, yo, let's get into it.
Try to take over the world.
Preaching freedom
Try to take over the world.
And greatest chaplain in the world, Mr.
Try
Lance
to
O'Neill.
take over the world.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Hey, we are glad to have you guys tonight. If you are out there in digital land joining us tonight on a very special Saturday, welcome. We know it's last minute. You guys got a couple of hours notice. Some of you guys got the 1 hour reminder. We want to welcome everybody in digital land. Shout out to our family and CTR Media Network. Welcome everybody to our, I guess you can call this a Super Bowl special edition if you want to. Two POGs edition. Welcome. We got a fast and furious show. Chappie, what up, man? How you been?
Good. It's like we did this 6 days ago instead of a week ago. It's weird.
I know, right? So we got a fast and furious show for you guys tonight. And it seems like not fast enough, man, with everything that's going on, man. This administration seems to be putting out information. Well, some people call it information, other people, I guess, call it chaos at a neck-breaking speed. So we got a lot to talk about, man. We're gonna try to burn through it. We got 90 minutes to try to get through it. If you guys join us, come on in. We are everywhere. We are on Twitch. We are on Roku. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. God Almighty, we are on platforms all over the world. We are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. All right, let's see if we can jump into it. We got things. Chappie, we got 5 topics lined up to talk about today. We got federal judges out there blocking everything like they kung fu masters. We got, let's see what we got. We had a kid on DOGE get fired for being a racist, and then he got his racist redemption arc fired back up. We got Congress balling on a budget. Then they said they can't find the money. Then all of a sudden, Senate was like, "Hold my beer, we got you." Oh my God, what else? We got Elon the Destroyer wrecking shit left and right. God Almighty, we got Trump trying to buy Gaza and redevelop it for his son-in-law, man. And that was just Tuesday. God Almighty, I don't know. Man, this administration, this is like the Multiverse of Madness. I don't think Marvel could have wrote a better script. Man, dealer's choice, Chappie. I am gonna ride the wave. I guess to the victor goes the spoils. Wherever you want to start, we got graphics for the budget to put up. I got to get everything set up. I got chaos at the house. Go ahead, Chappie. Wherever you want to start, I'm gonna ride the wave, and I'm gonna fill in the graphics as you talk, and we're gonna ride it and keep it going, brother.
All right, so we'll do Gaza first, and here's why. So there's 2 different theories about how Dave Ramsey and different financial planners say to deal with things. You either deal with the biggest thing and get it done first with the low interest, or the smallest and kind of knock them out. Well, in this case, I think the rebuilding Gaza is the smallest one. It's the easiest one because Trump coming out, before Trump came out, Gaza, we've all seen the pictures of Gaza. Gaza was basically leveled by Israel because of the actions of Hamas on October 17th, now a year and a half ago. So Trump comes out and says, "Oh, we're going to," and nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody wanted to take Palestinians, Egypt, Jordan, the different Saudi, none of them want to take anything. So I don't know if this was the intent, but I kind of
we got to say that Palestinians wanted to take Palestine because they've always wanted they just wanted to go home. That's always kind of been their thing. They always just kind of wanted to just be left alone. So we got to put that caveat in.
But if you want to go historically on the caveat, Jordan was originally supposed to be a Palestinian state. So there's that piece of history too. But
we're not talking about Jordan. We're talking about like literally
right
now. That's all. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
but
we can go all the way back to the sands of time and say, well, yeah, Persia and China, yeah, everybody wanted to peak, but like right now, as what we can talk about in our lifetime, they just want to go home. Like
okay, there's very nuanced here. Palestinians that have lived in Gaza want to go back to Gaza.
Right.
Okay, because there are plenty of Palestinians that are not from Gaza and don't live in Gaza.
Right.
Area. Okay. So, but this whole thing of rebuilding, Trump goes in and says, okay, well, why don't we rebuild it? And what happened since then is both Egypt and Jordan have jumped in and said, whoa, why don't we do it? Why don't you let the Middle East do it? Let the Arab countries do it. So I think it is actually a situation where Trump said, well, let me put my nose in there. And then they're going to come back and say, no, we'll do it. And it's very similar to what happened with some of the tariffs with, I think he's using it to get his way by saying, hey, the United States will come in, we'll take over Gaza, we'll rebuild it, and we'll make sure Hamas isn't there. I think you then had the Middle Eastern countries who should have stepped up to begin with and don't want to step up in a lot of ways. Now they're going, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, let's do that. Now, you could say, is it 4D chess by Trump, or is it Trump just going, hey, I know how to poke these guys to get them to do what I want? And I kind of think that's what it is. I think Trump is a little bit more savvy than people give him credit for. I don't think he's the super mastermind that some people in MAGA land think he is. The 4D chess thing, I don't think it's that. I think he understands the reactionary nature of especially the Middle East. You say, hey, I'm going to do this in Israel, and the Middle East says, no, you won't. And you say, well, I don't think that Israel should do that. And they, yes, they should. So, it's kind of like what's going on with these hostages, right? The funny thing for years is Gaza and the Middle East has said Israel and the Jews treat Arabs like they're not worth as much as a Jew. But then it's like, okay, you have these hostages, and they've done this not just this recent time, but this has historically been the Hamas will go in and let's say they'll kidnap a soldier or two or three, and then they'll turn around and give and say, well, we want these 1,000 prisoners to give you back these 4 soldiers. So you're devaluing your own people by making these deals anyway. And you see this going on right now with these hostages where Israel's getting these hostages that have been held now for 18 months. One guy, that they just showed, totally emaciated. They're trading him for, what is it, like 150 prisoners or something. So yeah, there's this idea of, is Trump valuing the Middle East valuing? But I think it's not. I think a lot of the whole Gaza thing, I think it's just talk. It's going to be, hopefully it gets rebuilt with a little more understanding that if they continue to build tunnels, and Egypt, first of all, does not want tunnels, but if you're going to continue to have tunnels, you're going to get hit again and again and again. And so I think Israel is going to back off and let it be rebuilt by Arabs with stronger oversight, military oversight, to make sure that it's built in a way that does not threaten Israel. And best case scenario is they do whatever the equivalent of snap elections are, and Hamas gets tossed out, and the people that are coming back in understand that is why their houses got destroyed. Their houses didn't get destroyed because of Israel. Their homes got destroyed because of Hamas and what the actions were by their leadership.
That's a way. There's people who will look at it differently, but
sure.
I hope for the sake of everything, it works out that way. I
do too. I don't want the U.S. in there. I don't think we should be in Gaza.
I want it to work out. That is absolutely something that we that's not our business. That is not our business. That's not something that we should be sticking our nose in. I am deeply troubled and concerned. And again, like my granddaddy, he had this saying: If it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, it's probably a platypus. And that was just a way of saying it. You see things for what they are, but then you have to read behind the lines and see what they really are. It's no secret that Trump is who he is, right? We can sit back and we can hope for the best, but at the end of the day, Trump at his core is an opportunistic businessman, right? And real estate development is what he is. And we can bullshit all day long, but when you got a son-in-law who is adept at real estate development, and he's done it before, taking advantage of the subsidies and the proxies to power, and he's made it clear that, hey, that's pristine developmental area. I don't want us involved because whether he gets involved or not, it's not a good look. And you can sit back and say whatever, it's not a good look, right? Because I can guarantee you, if we change the name from Jared Kushner to Hunter Biden, you'd be jumping up and down on the couch screaming collusion. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and
I don't want it. I don't want the U.S. involved.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying as conservatives, if we change the name from Jared Kushner and Donald Trump to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden,
sure,
you'd be jumping up and down on the couch screaming, "Oh, this is illegal." He's ushering contracts to his family. So if it's illegal then, it's damn sure illegal now, and we got no business doing it, right? So let's stay the hell away. We wish them the best. Let's let them do their thing, and you know what I'm saying. We let it rock. That's all I'm saying.
So KJ, let me ask you this: How much do you and I'm trying to phrase this in a way because you're not on the left. You're an independent, but you definitely are. You're pushed away by MAGA. Let's put it like that.
I'm pushed away by MAGA, and I think the Democrats are cuckolds. So yeah, I am this.
But how much? Right, and so my question is, I know what the average Democrat or leftist, especially those that are political, they automatically it's a knee-jerk reaction of Trump proposes this, therefore it's wrong and we must oppose it, which I think will be our next subject of especially what's going on with the Treasury Department. But with this whole thing of, let's say, the development, how much time do you worry about? And I know it's like you're not sitting there going, "Oh, what's going on with Don Jr. or whoever." How much do we worry about Trump with he said something, so it's definitely going to happen versus he says stuff all the time and most of it doesn't happen? Like I like the Trump thing, and even the White House, even his staff kind of went, "Wait, what? We're going into Gaza? We're developing Gaza? Gaza's beachfront property? What?" So I'm not really stuff like that. I'm not overly concerned with, because that Trump can also, shall we say, get caught up in his train of thoughts, which does not always match with what is going on in the world. I
don't know. But see that's where I think a lot of people get caught up in the wash, right? And you get blinders, right? Let people on the left and right get blinders, right? And I'll give you a prime example, right? And I always harp on this Project 2025, right? Because that's the great boogeyman, right? For the whole election, for the
2025 and DEI,
right? So that was the whole election, right? The whole election, we said, hey, you had people on the left saying, hey, Project 2025 is happening. You should be very afraid this is going to happen, right? Everybody on the left was saying this is real, this is going to happen, right? And everybody on the right said, oh no, Trump said, I have nothing to do with 2025. I don't know nothing about 2025. I don't have anything to do with it. I don't know nothing about it, right? And then Trump gets elected, and lo and fucking behold, everybody in his cabinet are the authors and publishers of Project 2025. And then we say, oh, well, Trump had nothing to do with 2025, which he doesn't. But everybody in his damn cabinet are the publishers and authors of 2025. So in a way, Trump has plausible deniability, right? But then all the guys who are the OMB chief was the chief publisher of Project 2025 and the director of the Heritage Fund. Stephen Miller was a chief contributor of Project 2025. And then when you start looking at the executive orders and you start mirroring it, it looks a lot like Project 2025. And I'm not saying this, but and you know, I get it. You know, you're as a conservative, you're sitting back and saying, no, not really. But as an independent looking at them and hating both parties equally, I can sit back and say, hey, man, you know, if you line that stuff up, it checks out. And it does. And it does.
But as a conservative, and we talked about this last week or the week before, I also say,
cool, but you agree with a lot of stuff in Project 2025.
Well,
so it's
whether I agree with it or not, the stuff that have been first and foremost were things that Trump said, I'm going to do these things. None of them were a surprise. And B, they're things that conservatives have been talking about doing now for a decade. So none of it. And again, I will readily admit, I didn't read the 1,000 pages of Project 25. I saw people on the left say, here's the scary things. And I saw people on the right say, yeah, but not really. Here's what is actually in it. So there's a lot of stuff that, think tank ideas. Absolutely. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not overly concerned because again, you and I have talked about this. I don't think anybody wants, and you can say I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody wants to go to post-Reconstruction Gilded Age, from the Gilded Age to post-Reconstruction of the United States. I think the intent right now is, especially with what's going on this week, is DOGE is coming out and saying, holy crap, we've been looking at this now. I saw a counter and the numbers are pretty amazing of what's been found so far. And we need to get a hold of this budgetary stuff because the money that we're spending is just insane. And I don't know if you have the spreadsheet up. I need to look at it on my side on my glasses because I will not be able to see. So I sent KJ a spreadsheet, and this is from X. Now it's from DOGE and Elon Musk, but I think the numbers are pretty spot on because they're pretty straightforward as far as this column. So what he did was they broke down fiscal year 2029 outlays, the money that they spend, and then they compared it to what, because of inflation, obviously money is different. The 2029, what the cost in 2024 would be, and then the 24 outlays. And so what's the increase in that? What's the real increase versus just, because you can go from $1 trillion to $1.1 trillion in 5 years. That actually might be a zero increase because of how the inflation has gone. And some of them are a little bit surprising for certain reasons. Like I look at Social Security and it's gone up $70 billion in change, and it's the far right column. The change in income in Social Security, $70 billion is up 5%. Okay, people are getting older. There's probably 5% more of the population. That's not a surprise. Medicare only going up 0.8%. That was a bit of a surprise for me. Mm-hmm. The Defense Department going down $42 billion. Not a surprise considering, the Biden administration cut quite a bit of money from the defense. Veterans Affairs went up $64 billion. Again, more vets, especially people being told as vets, hey, go use your VA. You have the benefits. That's been a big push in the last 5 years. Income security and others actually went down. So the investments went down. Education, I was surprised by that one. Education went up $125 billion or 69.4%. Education, training, and social services. Now, I don't think that means education is in the schools because when you're looking at the numbers, it's actually it's $135 billion. So maybe that is, but I'd be curious what made that go up 70%. Infrastructure, they spent 7.3% more. Other domestic discretionary, almost 15% went up. International affairs went up 2.6%. Net interest. I want to talk about the bottom right corner. Net interest on the debt went up to. It went from $376 billion, which is 0.376 trillion, to 501 billion, which is a 381 billion increase in real dollars.
That is awesome.
76%.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the one that concerns me more than anything else. And you and I have talked about this a lot in terms of the whole point of us doing this podcast isn't just to bitch and moan and complain what Trump is doing wrong or Trump's doing right or Biden's doing right or right. It's what are the common sense fixes to this?
I don't think you're ready to hear the real answer to that one, though, buddy. That one you're going to be upset about. Why am I
going to be upset?
You're not going to like the answer to that one.
Go
back and look at what's the cause of that
one. What, inflation?
What's expiring at the end of the year that we just got that we're trying to renew? We're going to talk about it here later. It expires in April that we got to renew. That we're trying to determine it.
What?
Tax cuts.
Oh. So you think that, so you're saying the interest from fiscal year 2019 went up by 76% because of tax cuts that the Biden administration kept or got rid of?
Well, keep in mind, we lost a lot of money from the pandemic. We lost a lot of revenue from the pandemic.
Oh, sure.
And then you couple this
is interest on the deficit.
Right. We weren't getting any money because we had tax cuts. We weren't getting any money anyway from the tax cuts. Then you couple that with the money that we lost from the pandemic. It's a double whammy. We just kind of got hit in the gut. We'll bounce back.
Agreed. Agreed. But here's the problem. We've also spent more. We've gone from I believe the numbers were in 2019, the federal government spent something like 4.7 trillion. And last year it was something like 7.1 trillion. So the spending has also gone out of control. So it's something that's been a problem forever in this country. Anytime you make an increase in taxes or payments, even if it's a temporary, we had this disaster happen, so we're going to raise the taxes by a penny on all our citizens to pay for the French and American War, right? We're going to increase by 1 penny. But that never goes away. And that's always been the case. So when you start looking at the federal spending and the money, I don't have a problem when I see what like USAID was spending money on, and you hear stuff like, well, this is going to hurt this is going to hurt that. Yeah, this is what hurts. When you have a federal deficit that is out of control, you see it wherever. It happened with Greece 20 years ago. Yep. Greece was spending left and right, and they had to say, all right, austerity came along and said, we have to really reduce the payments to people. Now, to me, and you and I talked about this, there's no way it will happen because we both believe that there would be another assassination attempt.
Yes.
And it would be that I would like to see Trump. Now, you could do one of two things. Trump could either pencil whip the entire debt, which, yeah, I think it would freak out people, and it would be a freak out mentally, but I don't think it would actually do that much. I think the world economy would kind of gasp all at once, and then the owners, those owners of the Federal Reserve, those families of the the secret meetings might go along, and that ends up with a dead president. And the second one, and this is the one that I think it should happen. I think that Trump should just unilaterally refinance what we pay to the Fed. The Fed is where all the debt is, right? It all goes through the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
And what, $34 trillion. We are paying on average somewhere around 2.2 to 2.5% rate, which is, when you think about it, not bad. If you had a mortgage that was at 2.2%, you'd be more than happy to take that.
Yep.
But when you have a $34 trillion deficit that's getting bigger every year because of your trade deficits, et cetera, well, that makes it pretty much unsustainable. And it's going to be unsustainable when our GDP, the debt is more than the GDP, the entire GDP here in about 20 to 30 years. So my proposal is this: Trump should come in and basically say, all right, we are going to unilaterally reduce the interest rate that the United States pays to the Fed to 0.1%. Now, 0.1%, you think, well, gosh, that's not very much. But on 34 trillion, that is still $340 billion annually.
Yes.
For not doing anything else at this point. The Fed would be getting an automatic 340. But the reason they won't do that is because what they're making right now is 1% of 34 trillion is, a lot more. Okay. So let's see, 34 trillion, 3.4, 304. Okay. I'm off by a factor. It's 34 billion, not 340 billion, but still pretty good payday for doing nothing. So
it is also about growing the economy. You're right.
Yeah, it is. But what you can do is
you can't outspend what you grow though. Unfortunately,
for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, 45 spent a lot more than he grew, but then 46 grew a lot more than he spent, and then right now 47 is on pace to spend a shit ton more than he's projected to grow now.
But like you just said, that was COVID spending too, though.
Right. So but I'm saying, but again,
so it's kind of like saying Joe Biden's administration added all those new jobs. Well,
but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it all of it was
really.
Rebound. That's what I'm saying. So 46 didn't spend as much, but then again, he couldn't spend as much because nobody was outside. But
I think I'm pretty sure 46 actually did spend more, but in part because, again, once you start saying we're gonna have these outlays, and you're gonna say you're gonna extend, say, unemployment insurance out to 6 months instead of the 20 weeks it was, or whatever it was, things like that go on and they just stay. But if you were to, with the federal deficit, with the Federal Reserve, what I would love Trump to do this. Again, unilaterally change the APR to 0.1%. And if the Fed says no, say, okay, well, we're not going to pay anything then. And if you don't allow an audit of the Fed, you need a 5-year, because it takes forever to do an audit, right? So you have to go back, let's say, in 90 days, 5-year. And you're not going to get into everything, but you can get pretty good broad strokes of auditing the Fed in 90 days. And for every month that the Fed says no, we're not going to allow an audit, Trump says, all right, we're going to write off $1 trillion of debt. Just write it off. We're not going to pay you. We're going to go from 34 to 33, 32. And so, the Fed, you have to question the Fed in terms of there's no transparency. It's a private institution. It's not even, we call it the Fed. It's a privately owned institution. It is not a federal bank. And that's why when you have stuff like, oh, you can't fire the head of the Fed. Well, yeah, because the federal government doesn't actually own the bank. So I've got to think that there's smarter people than me when it comes to economics that could come in and say, well, this is what we could do in terms of changing the Fed to a federal bank and actually having a federal bank. I know Hamilton, had some pretty strong thoughts on whether there should be a federal bank or not. and I believe he was for a federal bank. So, and I'm not saying Hamilton was right on everything or whatever, but at the same time, something's got to be done because we're at a point in this country where we are going to have austerity. And I've said for a long time, austerity is where the Civil War is going to be. And I think you already start to see it. When you see the freak out, not by the public is not really freaking out that much. You have a little bit of protesting, and I think it's AstroTurf protests more than anything about the money in the US and all that. But when you have the Dems freaking out as hard as they are, it makes me kind of suspicious. Like, you don't want to save money too?
You know, if let's talk about that. Can we be honest? Can we be honest about that? Can we be honest about that?
Oh, and the Republicans waste just as much money.
No. It's not about being honest. Can we be honest?
Let's see what you say. I don't know if
you have an entity. You have an entity that is rummaging through every pillar of our government sector and reports to no one. They have autonomy to do whatever the hell they want.
They report someone.
To who? On a need to know basis. On a need to know basis. Do you really think he's telling President Trump everything he finds? You do you believe that? The high points. Here's the thing, KJ. DOGE is probably being more forthcoming to President Trump than the FBI and CIA were during 45's presidency. Oh my God.
Dude, you had Miley and Esper flat out lying to the president's face in Esper's book. They were lying.
As they should. So the president's an idiot.
Do you believe in a republic that is led by a constitution that the president
You don't believe in the president. You don't believe the president. You do not believe in the republic. Do not get on here and lie to me. Do not get up here and lie to me to my face that you believe in a republic. With all the corruption that we are talking about right now, you are not going to sit here and tell me you believe in a republic. We have a private citizen that is rummaging. He does not. He told Congress to fuck off. He told Congress to fuck off. We have a president who basically told the judges, I do what the fuck I want, and you can't stop me. And not only did you not care, you cheered him on. Don't tell me shit about a republic. You don't care. Y'all don't care. Y'all don't care.
Absolutely care.
We said go chaos. We said hell yeah. Burn this bitch.
On a lot of it, yeah.
We don't care about republics. We don't.
KJ, I care about the Constitution.
He's not a fucking employee. Stop this shit, Liberty. He's not an employee.
I care about the Constitution. And when you look, you and I talked about this. When a federal judge says the president of the United States cannot let his picks go into the Treasury Department and see the files and anything you've already gotten from there, you need to burn it.
Can you tell me?
You know what that tells me? Hold on. Checks and balances there's checks and balances and there's overstepping. Who decides who the Treasury Secretary is? Constitutionally, who says it?
Who says it?
The president. The president picks and the Senate
he appoints it. Yes, he
confirms,
appoints,
right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a Treasury Secretary who was duly nominated, who was vetted by Senate, who is now the Treasury Secretary, and a lone federal judge says, nope, you can't go in and look at any of this. You're telling me that's...
No, Treasury Secretary can.
No, KJ, that was the ruling that even right now, he said only for a week, but even the Secretary of the Treasury cannot go in and look at this stuff. That's what the federal judge said. He said nobody that Trump has appointed None of them. He did a whole, it wasn't like, well, let's anybody who's, and even here's the other part. Because you're talking about the president.
Wait, has President
and we talk about
it?
Yeah, it's part of that. Yes. So
I don't think has he been confirmed yet? I don't think he's been confirmed yet.
Yeah, he was confirmed. He was.
I thought that was the whole point of it. He hadn't been confirmed yet.
Okay, so the judge ordered DOGE to completely destroy all records they've already collected.
DOGE.
So after
DOGE, yes.
No, but listen. There. I'm reading a different one than I had. The other one was the. So I had the destroying the records one. There was another one where but that's what it was. The federal judge.
No, the federal judge was absolutely right in telling those to get the fuck out. That's called checks and balances. That is the Republic doing its job. The Republic doing its job.
KJ, the Treasury is run by the president. It's run by the executive branch, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So if the president says, you know what? I really like that KJ Bradley guy. Mm-hmm. I think KJ is super smart and I trust KJ. So what I'm going to do is I think KJ should come in and I want KJ to review the Treasury, what's been going on in the Treasury over the past 4 years. And KJ, you know what? KJ needs a clearance and he needs access. And the president says, okay, then give it to him. And they say, here's the form, Mr. President. You sign this and KJ will get access. Yep. What is unconstitutional about that?
And the federal judge says, hold on, let me check and make sure that's legit. That's called checks and balances. That's the way it's set up. That's the way it's set up. No. Constitutionally, that is the way it's set up. He says, hold on, let's make sure we're legit. Let's make sure we're legit. Hold on, let me tell you why that's set up that way. Because they tried to do it. Congress said, hey, Elon, let me check and make sure you're doing it the right way. Come check in with us. And Elon said, fuck you. I don't work for you. I don't have to do it. When he did that to Congress,
hold on. You're right.
But wait, let me finish though. When Elon said, fuck you, Congress, I don't work for you, that's when the federal judge said, hold up, player. We got checks and balances. You're gonna report to somebody, and it ain't gonna be just the president. Let me hold you real quick. So
then he's wrong. Then the federal judge is wrong.
No,
the federal judge is wrong.
Because the DOGE is not an official fucking entity of the government.
KJ, stop. Hold on. What I believe is constitutionally, the Treasury Department falls under the executive branch.
Yes.
It falls under the president. Whether it's DOGE as a group, or whether it's Musk individually and his minions or whatever, whoever it is, the president of the United States, because he has the direct line and the direct responsibility and the direct leadership of the Treasury. Now, if DOGE had come in and said, we're going to write this, if DOGE had come in and said, here's the law we are now going to follow, I'd be with you 100%, because the executive branch does not make laws. They don't make laws, right? What the executive branch does is execute laws, and they do certain things that is under the power that is laid out in the Constitution about the responsibilities of the executive branch. He's the chief, he's the commander in chief, etc., right? He is the head of the Treasury Department. Ultimately, the president is the one who is the head of the Treasury Department. Now, the legislature is the one who says, this is how you spend the money. Yes, absolutely. But if the president says, KJ, I want you and O'Neill to have access to all the records, then we have access to all the records because that's what the president said. That is not a checks and balances. And the problem is with a federal judge doing that. And I've said this both ways. I've said this. I don't like when federal judges do this. When they make it up out of whole cloth because they say, I don't like what's being done, and they don't say, here's constitutionally why you're wrong. And I've said that about, Bush and Reagan appointees who did the same thing on Clinton. And
you cannot have a special appointed employee running amok with no accountability. You cannot. And a federal judge said, "Hey, let me make sure." No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Then what is the point? Then what's the president, sir?
You're missing this special part. Doesn't mean anything.
Exactly, it does not. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point. He can be an employee. He can.
All he needs is to be granted the clearance and the access by the president of the United States, whose purview it is to have that. If I say, this is my house, I am the king of my house, I'm the one who decides who comes into my house and who doesn't come in my house.
Try it. I dare you to try it. I would dare you. That's like having another woman come into your house and cooking in your house and not telling your wife, and then your wife be like, hey, why are you in my house cooking? And she tells your wife, hold on, I don't work for you, I work for Lance. How do you think that's gonna play? How do you think that's gonna play?
Household is obviously different than the federal government.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, because there's different things. Well,
when you're looking I fully expect change. It ain't gonna be the change you expect, but sure. Mm-hmm.
I think this order is going to be struck down. I don't think it's going to last a week.
I'm sure it will. But the point is,
wait, why? Why are you sure it will?
It has to be make sure it's constitutional, man. Okay, so what is the point of reviewing to make sure it's constitutional now?
So the federal judge didn't say, I'm stopping this on constitutional grounds.
He just said I'm putting a pause on it. That's all he said.
Why?
He said, hold up.
If he had said this is against the Constitution, section whatever, then I'd be sitting there going, yeah, there you go. That's not what he said. He basically came out and said, I don't think it's right that what you just said, this special non-employee person has access to the American public's information.
Right.
He didn't say anything about that's what federal judges are supposed to do. Two things. They review the law and they review the Constitution and how it applies to the law.
All right. So we know what they're supposed to do, right? So if we know what a federal judge's role and responsibility is, all they have to do is say, hey, stop. Because we know what they're doing when they say stop. That's like if a case goes to the Supreme Court, they don't need to tell us why it's in the Supreme Court. We know what they're doing when it's in the Supreme Court. He doesn't have to tell us the why. It's there. We know why it stopped. It's going to
traditionally, every time you've had a federal judge come out and say, this is why we're pausing it, it's because specifically there's something about the Constitution that comes into play.
Well,
that's one thing, pretty much this judge banning employees. He's banning employees from the Treasury Department.
Let us throw out tradition for this administration, because one thing I've learned about this administration is they don't give two shits about tradition. We cannot base anything on tradition with this administration. Tradition be damned in a Donald Trump administration. Again, we cannot bend the rules. We can't base the rules off of tradition for a Donald Trump administration. So don't tell me about no damn tradition for a federal judge in a Donald Trump administration, because Donald Trump don't give two shits about tradition.
This goes back to the people who are arguing that this is a coup. This is a coup by Donald Trump. This is a coup by Donald Trump and his lackeys that are taking over the government.
Donald Trump was elected. It can't be a coup if he was elected.
Exactly, right? You have Republicans who are being appointed, and not even Republicans. You have people, whoever they are. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat until 3 months ago.
Tulsi Gabbard
RFK
is a
Jr.
Russian operative. She's crooked as shit. I don't give a fuck what you say. Tulsi Gabbard is the Russian operative. She's crooked as shit. And RFK Jr. is just dumb.
See, now there's something that I have a problem with. One is an
I'm
opinion.
not gonna say he's dumb. He is unqualified.
No.
But
that's not the one. That's not the one I have.
He's unqualified.
That's not the one I have a problem with. That's not the one I have a problem with, because you just said two very different things. You said one is a statement of fact, and one is an opinion. Saying that RFK Jr. is dumb, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's dumb. He is definitely unqualified to be the health secretary.
I don't even care. That is an opinion. That's fine. I have no issue with you stating an opinion and saying, I think RFK is this. I think he's a threat. He's stating as a factual that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent. You what?
I love RFK Jr. too. I love RFK Jr. I think he's amazing. He is a horrible health fucking secretary. Horrible.
Fine.
No, I'm answering Liberty. No, Liberty says I love RFK Jr. I love RFK Jr. too.
Oh,
I love it.
I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see the different text.
I love RFK Jr. But he's a horrible
KJ, here's my problem though. My problem is when you say things like Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent. To me, and I think this is fair and it's legal as well. This is the legal precedent. Once you start making accusations like that, it is now on you as the accuser to prove that that's the case, or else it's defamation.
Sure.
Okay.
Tell them to come get me.
So
I will put my career on it. Tell them to come get me. I will put my career as a target and analyst on it. Tulsi Gabbard has been compromised since 2018. I'll put my career on it.
I think if the government actually came after you, I think if Tulsi Gabbard sued you, I think if Tulsi Gabbard saw this and she was willing to sue you, you would lose everything you have. You'd lose your house, your car, everything.
I bet you I wouldn't. I bet you would.
Because it's defamation. It's defamation.
I bet you I would.
Okay.
I guarantee you I would. And you've never, and all the years you've known me, I've never made a proclamation like that. Never.
Well, I think you
know my character. And you know my character. And when I tell you, I believe with everything in me that she's compromised, I'm telling you, Tulsi Gabbard is compromised.
Then I'm going to challenge you to prove it.
Sure. And you're more than welcome to.
And not right now. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. And
you have 12 minutes. Prove it.
And I'm telling you everything within me. Tulsi Gabbard has been compromised since 2018. And you'll find out. And when you do, and when we do,
let's see it.
I just hope when we do, it doesn't cost lives.
Okay. So you're saying that like eventually we will?
Absolutely.
Okay, you need to prove it though.
Absolutely.
When you make a statement that she is compromised
since
2018, you have to have the receipts. And here's my question to you. If you have these receipts, why wouldn't Congress, and why at this point wouldn't the I mean, you're telling me that Congress, who loves Tulsi Gabbard so much.
You know what's funny?
The Democrats.
Funny, Lance? The funny thing about it is you assume that Congress don't. That's like sitting on the Syrian border watching weapons of mass destruction come in from Iran every damn day and sending up a SIPA report saying that, hey, the Chinese 122s are coming in convoys from Iran every day on the SIPA report while you watch them come in. And you send them up every day on the SIPA report, knowing that the Iraq war can be over, but you're still sitting out there every damn day in the middle of the Iraq war. You know why? Because war is money. And at the end of the day, the country don't give a shit.
So you find out
just how shitty this country is. Because people don't give a damn about the truth.
You think that Democrats who look at Tulsi Gabbard as a turncoat, as an absolute backstabbing whatever, who was, by the way, she resigned as the deputy, the second number 2 in the Democratic Party. What's
Liberty?
what's
It's a city country, but it's my country, and I'm gonna defend it because I love it. It's my home.
So
I've been to shitty countries too, but this is a shitty country, and it's my country.
So Tulsi Gabbard was the DNC, the deputy chair, and she quit because she saw how Bernie Sanders got screwed over by the Hillary Clinton machine, right? And the Democrats basically worked on it, and we all know that happened. They basically,
That's a story. And Michael Jordan retired from basketball in his prime because he wanted to go play baseball.
Unfortunately, there's no proof either way.
Exactly.
Here's
So,
the difference. Here's the difference.
Yeah.
The difference is Tulsi Gabbard has to be confirmed, right?
She'll get confirmed. So don't construe this. Don't construe this. This is how this works, Lance. We know how this country works, right? You've been in the game for a very long time, right? You put this uniform on. You understand how this works, right? And for those of you guys that think I'm drinking, I'm not. It's a Reed's all natural ginger ale. Okay, I'm not drinking.
I don't care what you're drinking.
I know, but for people,
You're an adult.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, for people who think I'm impaired, I want them to know that I am of sound mind and body. So when I say that,
Are you getting that on Twitch or something?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, so what I'm saying, when people go back and they look at this, I want people to understand this country is not the red, white, and blue wrote the book on nefarious fucking deeds. Okay, we wrote the book on it. Okay, the Alphabet Agency has been known to do some nefarious shit a time or two. Okay, so
Sure,
it happens. It's okay. And yes, we've had double agents. It's the name of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. She'll do her thing. They'll trade intel. They've had eyes on her for a very long time. They'll let her do her thing. Eventually, she'll get found out, and we'll move on. It's happened. It's okay.
Here's why I have a problem with it. I don't think Democrats, if they had the receipts, would sit on them. I think it would be on Drudge. I think it would be the New York Times headline would say
Liberty,
Tulsi Gabbard.
every country's bad. If you believe that this country's fucking full of lollipops and gumdrops, then I'm sorry, my friend. If me telling you that this country's bad offends you, then fuck, bro. I'm sorry. This country's shit, and it's okay. I can call it shit and still love it. It's okay. All right. Sometimes I hate my life. Sometimes I hate my wife, but that doesn't mean I don't love her. It's okay, man.
Yeah, so Liberty doubled down and he said that's what he agrees with.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
And KJ and KJ and I have said this a lot of times. It's kind of like what I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, democracy is a horrible form of government. It just happens to be the best one we have.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. So this country,
I wouldn't be as angry if I didn't love it. If I didn't love this country, I wouldn't be so upset about it.
Yeah. I just don't think that Congress, Democrats, if they had the receipts like you're talking about, that they wouldn't be out and be blasted everywhere if she was compromised. I don't believe it. Because again, like, okay, so it's like what Democrats came out after she switched sides. Well, Republicans first went after her, and then Democrats did, that she went and met with Assad. Now, I've said this back even when Obama, I never understood this idea of well, why would Obama go and meet with these leaders? Oh, no, there goes KJ. Why would he go meet with these different leaders? Well, I want the president. I want our leaders to be going and having these conversations with other countries, not necessarily striking deals that help other countries. I want our countries to be the lead. But if Obama goes and talks to If Obama got on the phone with Ayatollah, I'm okay with that. If Trump talks to Kim Jong-un, I'm okay with that. If Tulsi Gabbard is going and meeting with Assad to try to make things better somehow, I'm okay with that. Pelosi, I'm okay with that. If the whole point is to make the situation better for this country, I'm okay with that.
There's a way to do it. What you don't do is you don't lie to your team. You don't cover up your meeting. You don't sneak away from your detail. You don't set it up, and then you don't sneak and double back. You don't do those things. If everything was on the up and up, you don't cover your tracks, and then you certainly don't double back and go do it again.
So if all of that's there, then that needs to be put into. Why wouldn't you, if you're a Democrat right now? But
it's been reported though, Lance. All of this has been reported.
If you're a sitting senator as a Democrat during Tulsi Gabbard's DNI confirmation, you're not going to put it up there and say, this is what happened. We have the reports. Did you
not watch
None of them did.
Confirmation they did. They absolutely did.
Okay.
They absolutely did.
I didn't watch it.
Watch the confirmation. They absolutely did. All of this is reported.
I'm going to have to go look it up then.
Yeah. None of this is a secret. All of this is reported. But what I'm telling you is at the end of the day, they know it. It's okay. Because at the end,
wait a minute. Are you saying everybody in Congress is compromised?
Shit, yeah. Now I told you what was the famous quote about they should start wearing NASCAR jackets so you can know who's sponsoring them?
Oh yeah. that wasn't that a Saturday Night Live bit? Okay, speaking of which, we need to finish on this. If you have not seen it, KJ, I think, can drop the link. But you need to go watch Eddie Murphy from like season 11 of Saturday Night Live. KJ will drop the link. If you have not seen this and you're younger, it's Eddie Murphy going undercover as a white man in New York. And it is probably the greatest satire that Saturday Night Live has ever done. One of the greatest Eddie Murphy skits. I don't know if he thought it up or what, because apparently it was a play on, there was a white guy who did the same thing in blackface and went into the community in like 1960. So Eddie Murphy did a play on this in the early 80s. And it is an absolute, just a ridiculously funny satire of right from the start of him reading the greeting cards to learn white speak. We can't play it. We're not going to play it because I think we'd get copyrighted if we did. But KJ is going to drop the link on there down onto YouTube, and hopefully everybody goes watches it. And despite going back and forth, 11th season, I believe is right, Liberty. But you can go find it on YouTube if you just Google Eddie Murphy in white as a white man. I believe will get you there.
I just dropped the link. In the chat. It's in there.
Okay, good. Yeah, White Like Me is the name of the skit. White Like Me, which is kind of funny for me because if you get white like me, you need whiter and you get transparent.
What did you say? I watched Dynasty.
All right, so with that, KJ, it's been fun. Man. You got the Super Bowl.
All right, we got 1 minute. You got to do your final thoughts, man.
A final thought is just I wish that the Chiefs and Eagles could both lose.
We didn't talk about nothing today. Jesus.
Yeah, we did. It just goes that fast.
We didn't rant. We ranted for an entire hour. My God.
That's all we do. We talk about how shitty the country is that we love.
I love this shitty country. There's no greater shit country in the world.
Takes over Canada.
Goddamn Canada. South Park is going to be amazing this summer. My God, I can't wait. South Park is going to be so funny this year. All new episodes.
Trey and Matt have some stuff to use.
They are going to go bananas this year.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Hey, man, see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a great weekend. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're out.
Gee, Ray, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
All right, yo, let's get into it.
Try to take over the world.
Speech and freedom
Try to take over the world.
and greatest chaplain in the world, Mr.
Try
Lance
to
O'Neill.
take over the world.